Today we're going to take a closer look at Abomination Immortal. I would not consider this video a comprehensive guide, but more of a first impression. I'll share some things I'd like to consider when evaluating the new champion, and rate Abomination using poor, good, or great across a variety of categories based on a few test fights. This evaluation will ultimately influence my decision to open crystals, grind arena, and invest rank up materials into this champion. But where I find value in a champ, you may not, and that's expected. There are so many factors that determine a champ's value, and sometimes it just comes down to personal preference. It's not always a one-size-fits-all situation. With that said, here are 5 dimensions I use to evaluate a champion. Damage. How quickly can this champion take down the opponent? This could mean consistent damage over time, or high burst damage, but it must be practical. Champs like Proxima can deal a lot of damage, but her ramp up is not something you can easily do for every fight, versus someone like Ghost, who has high DPS right out the gate. Durability. How forgiving is this champ if I make a mistake and get smacked in the face? Will I die to a single combo like Wasp? Or can I take a few hits and finish off the fight like Doom? This takes into account block proficiency as well. I would like to avoid losing half of my health to blocked hits. Suicide friendly. I don't play in top tier Alliance War, so I very seldom change my masteries, and I run suicides virtually 100% of the time. Having a champion that is suicide friendly is very important to me, but this may not matter to you if you're not running suicides. Utility. This is a broad category. Basically, does this champ have abilities that provide a counter to a specific node or a specific opponent? This could range from power control, healing counters, immunities, or even the ability to deal energy damage versus physical damage. Like I said, it's a very broad category. More on this in a moment. Feel. Regardless of stats and abilities, how does a champ feel to play? Are the animations smooth? Do they have comfortable spacing when dashing and finishing a combo? How well do they represent their comic book counterpart, if applicable? By the way, if you've ever seen one of Tater's Power Index videos, this list may look familiar. It's not identical, but it's very similar. I think Tater's videos are great. I'm definitely not trying to take away or steal anything from what he has done. It just so happens my evaluation criteria is very similar to his by coincidence. So here are my first impressions of Immortal Abomination. Regarding damage, this is a rank 5 5-star with class advantage. I'm taking a very vanilla approach to Scarlet Witch here, meaning I'm not focused on a specific rotation, I'm just playing casually, and Abomination's damage is pretty good. There are damage spikes when his acid burn kicks in, which is a really nice bonus and very low effort. It also allows you to keep pressure on the opponent as you become unblockable when acid burn triggers. There are ways to capitalize on this damage by stacking Toxic Aura, triggered by using SP2, and launching an SP3, which triggers a massive acid burn for each Toxic Aura up to 4. But this is not something you'll likely be able to do in a short to mid-range fight like questing AQ or even Alliance War. So for me, the big damage does not qualify as practical, just fun. He also excels on poison vulnerability nodes. This is from Variant 2. Overall, I'd rate Abomination a good for damage, even though he can ramp up for very high damage over time. Looking at durability, Abomination has a relatively high health pool, and he feels sturdy enough to take a few hits without getting KO'd. Here's a quick comparison using rank 5 5-stars. I would rate him above average, a high good for durability. As far as being suicide friendly, I love this guy with suicides. As long as you're running willpower, and you should be if you're running suicides, Abomination will slowly regenerate throughout the fight because he takes no damage from poison debuffs, which you'll have plenty of. Abomination scores a great for suicide compatibility. Okay, there are a few things I want to cover regarding Abomination's utility. First, his ability to counter regen. Abomination applies a fairly long Petrify on his SP1, coupled with the heal reduction from his poisons, and you have a very reliable regen counter. Note, I only have 1 point of despair in the fight that we're watching right now. While he's certainly not the best regen counter in the game, he can make it work. Also, A-Bomb is set up to take on a lot of niche fights. One really great example is this Acid Wash Mysterio. I think Mysterio may have been swapped out for another champ on the live server, but Abomination is a great solve for Acid Wash in general. I would consider using him in AQ for sure. He also has a synergy with Man-Thing and VTD that allows him to place armor breaks on heavy. This is how we're dealing damage to Mysterio here. Last but not least, a few honorable mentions. A-Bomb's long petrify and slow regen makes Doom a much more manageable fight, allowing you to block his unblockable specials. Additionally, he's very capable of taking nodes like Distract and What's Yours is Mine, since blocked hits apply a weakness debuff to defenders who are poisoned. I'd rate Abomination a very high good for utility. He has a lot of utility and does many things very well, but there are specialists in the game that do these same things better. Finally, feel. Abomination feels great to play, his animations are smooth, his hits and dashes feel appropriately spaced, and his SP2 is sick. It feels really good to throw off. I'd rate Abomination good for feel. Overall, I really like Abomination Immortal. It's likely I will spin out some crystals and grind for him in the arena. He's a champ I consider investing rank up materials into, meaning a rank 5 5-star or rank 2 6-star, but I wouldn't consider him a must-have champion like Doom, Ghost, or Corvus. Anyway, that's my initial take on Abomination. Don't take my word as gospel. If you acquire A-Bomb, do some testing, and let me know what you think. That's it for today. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.